good stuff. Listening to an audiobook. How y'all doing today? It's a lovely day. The sun is finally out. It's been pretty gloomy lately, and I've just been tired and groggy and ugh. I like the gloominess, you know. A warm cup of coffee does hit when the clouds are gray and dark, especially during the rain. Oof. But sometimes you just want that sunlight. Man, I have been playing The Witcher 3. I think it's the perfect time to play it. And oh my gosh, I never want it to end. It's so good. I want to talk about audiobooks and are they considered reading? The differences and the benefits of each of those mediums. I've talked to a lot of people who read books, and I've seen a lot of discourse online that they consider audiobooks to be, they consider it reading. I don't believe that audiobooks are reading. I believe they are two separate mediums. I am not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to look down on people who use audiobooks. Say I'm better than them. I'm not. No. I just want to talk about this topic and the different sides and present my view on this topic and maybe talk about the benefits of audiobooks and the benefits of reading. You know, in these videos, I sometimes forget to drink my coffee, and midway through the video, I'll be drinking my coffee and it's ice cold. So I'm trying to get my warm sips in right now. I think audiobooks are extremely beneficial for those who travel a lot for work, travel a lot in life, drive a lot, commute to and from, home and work. Audiobooks are great for people who are more audio and visual. That's their preferred way of absorption, and they can picture a story better when they're being read to. And I feel like if audiobooks are your preferred way of taking in books, more power to you. I'm not going to stop you. Don't let anyone stop you from having fun. If that is the way you want to take in a book, by all means. I think audiobooks are far more beneficial than wasting time on social media, just doom scrolling. Get lost in a story. Gain knowledge with whatever subject or story you decide to absorb yourself into. I think that's great. That's important. However, I don't believe audiobooks are considered reading. I believe audiobooks and reading are two separate mediums. One you are listening and one you are reading. They are literally two different things. Listening and reading are two different experiences. You're using your brain in two completely different ways. Your focus is on different levels, whether you're reading or listening to an audiobook. The definition of reading: the action or skill of reading written or printed matter silently or aloud. The definition of listen: give one's attention to a sound. Make an effort to hear something. Be alert and ready to hear something. I'm using these definitions as an example to show that these are two separate activities. When you are listening to an audiobook, you are not seeing words. There's no physical book in front of you that you are focusing on. You can be doing chores or playing a video game, doing laundry, going on a drive, and all the while the audiobook can be in the background and your mind can wander, or it can fully focus and pay attention and listen to what is being said on the audiobook. And then with reading, with actually reading a book with a book in hand. Oh, this is upside down. When you read, you sit down with a book in front of you. You're using your brain to cut everything else out, all the distractions, and focusing on the text in front of you, following the lines of text. The more you read, you're developing discipline and focus on what you're actually reading. You're able to immerse yourself and develop vocabulary in a whole different way. And I'm not saying you're not learning and developing when you're listening to an audiobook. I'm just saying there are true differences with an audiobook versus reading. See, the coffee's getting a little lukewarm. Still good though. So for me, I prefer physical books, a book in hand. There's nothing like smelling the pages, feeling the pages and the hardcover or soft cover in your hands, carrying it with you. And sometimes when you take it out to a coffee shop or you're at an airport and someone sees the cover of your book and a conversation starts. They ask you, hey, what you reading? Or what is that? Or hey, I've read that. And vice versa. You see someone else with a physical book. And for me, of course, I'm going to ask what it's about and talk to them about that book. I love talking books. I just love when I read, I'm able to genuinely push myself in ways that I wouldn't be able to do with an audiobook. Sure, an audiobook I can multitask and listen and get stuff done, but when I sit down and read, I'm carving out time, limiting all the distractions and giving my 100% focus on the book in front of me. And I think it's rewarding, for me at least, that when I finish a book, it's like, wow, I actually read that book. I did it. I followed the text. I learned words and pronounced names, and I got immersed in a different way. When I've approached an audiobook, it's either with the attitude to get it done, just let me get this story done with. I'm tired of it, let's just get through it. I want to be able to do other things. Or it's because the performer, the narrator, is so dang good. And it's worth experiencing the audiobook. And that's my personal opinion and side on those two mediums. You've heard me talk about society and trends and how fast our world is and how it just goes boom, 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 boom. On to the next thing, on to the next thing. Society moves so fast. People don't want to put in the time to sit still and read a physical book. They want to keep moving, keep things going, and multitask, play a video game, and watch a movie while they listen to a book or something, do chores. And like when you're multitasking and listening to a book, are you even fully listening to that book? Are you even giving your full attention to the narrator and what they're saying? Is your mind wandering and going off into la la land? I think just it takes away what makes a physical book special and the intentionality of sitting down and reading and focusing on that book. And again, I'm not trying to be mean and say audiobooks are bad. I'm just trying to bring out a perspective so we can have a conversation on this topic. Growing up, my mom, she was my best friend, my superhero, my biggest cheerleader. In 2005, she became legally blind. I think it was like glaucoma. And it just kept getting worse. And I think it was because of diabetes. She could no longer read books, and she was a history teacher. So her life, my life, our life changed greatly. I had to help her a lot with, reading directions for things or recipes for things. And she was a sewer, and I had to thread her needle a lot. But she kept going. She kept pushing through all her hobbies and interests. And reading was one of her interests. So, audiobooks were extremely beneficial to her. And we would spend hours shopping online for audiobooks. I'd read her like book previews and synopsis of certain books so she can decide which book she wanted to order. And she was an audio absorber because she couldn't see that well. Audiobooks are extremely beneficial, especially for those who can no longer see or who have never been able to see. And yeah, I've seen it, with my mom. What do you like? What do you prefer? How do you like to take in a book? Do you listen to an audiobook or do you read a physical book? What do you like about listening to an audiobook, and what do you like about reading a physical book? And share me your story. I want to hear all about it. Because everyone's got their own story and their own reasons behind their choices of preferred media. So yeah, thank you for watching and hanging out, hearing me ramble about my opinions on books and audiobooks and whatnot. Till next time.